Naoya Inoue knocks out Jason Moloney. Let's talk about it. What's happening, boxing fans? It is Dr. Bring It. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I definitely wanted to put out a video and catch up with you guys about this fight. I know that it was probably overshadowed by the Tank Davis-Leo Santa Cruz fight, but I wanted to circle back and make sure that we shared some thoughts. I'm curious what you guys thought about this fight as well. Let's just start by talking about Jason Moloney. Jason Moloney is not, in my humble opinion, he's not a tomato can. Meaning he's not just some guy out there who fighters like to fight and beat up and just look good. That's not the case in my eyes about Jason Moloney. Why? Jason Moloney, Australian fighter, 21 wins. He now has 2 losses, but he only had 1 loss by way of split decision. But out of those 21 wins, he had 18 knockouts. That's actually a lot. That's a pretty decent percentage, which means that he's a powerful fighter. He's a powerful boxer and puncher. So was he potentially dangerous to Inoue? Absolutely. I think he was, but obviously because of the boxing prowess and skill set of Inoue, he was able to knock out a really good puncher. So what exactly did Inoue, what was he able to actually bring to the table here? Well, for one, he has a really good chin, okay? Let's just get that out of the way. He proved that against Nonito. He was taking Nonito's best, his best bombs, left hook, and he didn't go down. Yes, mind you, I believe he broke and fractured an orbital bone, but he was able to still last the 12 rounds and win by unanimous decision. And he deserved all the accolades and praises for that. So one thing about Inoue is that he is definitely offensive-minded. Doesn't have really the greatest defense, but I think it's because he himself knows that he could take a punch. So he doesn't really need to show that good of defense, because I don't know if he's, honestly, I think he's been probably spoiled with the fact that his offensive mindedness has been able to just overwhelm all of his opponents. So we're still waiting for an opponent out there that will just absolutely overpower and outwork Naoya. Jason Moloney wasn't able to do that. So from the very beginning of this fight, he really established his jab. He was able to jab to the head, and what I appreciate, and I just really, who knows, maybe I'm biased with fighters who love to go to the body. Naoya builds that into his strategy. He jabs to the head, jabs to the body, and these are meaningful jabs to the body. He goes to the sides, he goes right down the middle, hits the solar plexus, takes the wind out of his opponents, so his opponents have to respect it and bring down their guard. This is all in like the body puncher's handbook, okay? This is what he does. Now, the thing is, Moloney was able to hit Naoya. He was able to hit him. So who knows, maybe Moloney started to feel a little bit overconfident, and since he was able to touch Naoya, he probably thought that, oh, I can hit him this way. But Naoya, he is also a counterpuncher. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that, but a lot of his offense comes after his opponent throws a punch. As a matter of fact, that first knockdown against Moloney was a beautiful hook, but Moloney had thrown a punch that actually connected, and Naoya, all he did was just move a little bit just off the line. It connected a little bit, and he threw his signature left hook, knocking him down. It was classic monster, right? But the second knockdown, which was the final punch, was very similar, but he threw a straight right. All he did was lean in a little bit and have Moloney just walk into a straight right. I mean, these are the traps that Naoya sets up. Now, as early as like the second or third round, Inoue was pretty much walking down Moloney. He did not respect his power whatsoever. He knew he could take Moloney's best punch, so he just pretty much just walked forward and was slipping a little bit, just enough, banging to the body. He goes to the head. Now again, like Inoue loves to go upstairs, downstairs, hits with uppercuts, hooks. I mean, he really is a complete fighter. Again, the only thing missing is the defensive part. Just personally, I feel like that only can last so long in the boxing game. But hey, if he's leveling all of his opponents, whatever, right? Who am I to say? But I hope to see a long career of Inoue. But at this rate, if he gets continually hit all the time, he might be an old 30-year-old, if you know what I'm saying. So who is next against Inoue? Who is going to be next? There's talks that I'm hearing about Rigondeaux, right? Rigondeaux is a seasoned veteran, great fighter. Unfortunately, he lost in dramatic fashion, giving up against Loma. But Loma is an excellent fighter. Okay, so, but which Rigo is going to show up if he does fight the monster? I really don't know, but I think it's a really good matchup. Rigo is definitely a defensive fighter. He has a really solid, well-timed jab. So it'll be really interesting to see him try to neutralize Inoue. Because how do you neutralize speed? You do it with a well-timed jab, which I think Rigo has. So let's watch out for those news and those developments there. Who else? Well, obviously, a lot of Filipinos wanted to see John Riel Casimero fight the monster, which didn't happen, so we are a little bit disappointed in that. But again, is that the best fight out there for Casimero? I think at this point of his career, he doesn't have an undefeated record to try to protect, so really he doesn't have anything to lose by fighting Inoue. And I think if Inoue is able to somehow beat Casimero, that would be a great name in his resume to have. But what are my quick thoughts about that? I did a video way back when we first heard that this fight was probably going to happen. But I watched a couple of Casimero fights, some of his last fights, and for some reason, I'm still feeling very concerned about Casimero, because when you compare Casimero to Inoue, you see a difference in the technicalities. You see the difference in how tight the fighters are. Casimero is a bit more wild and loopy. but he explores the ring a bit more than Inoue. What I like about Casimero is that he is a clever fighter. He is definitely smart, and tries to outsmart his opponents. But again, will he be able to catch Inoue and actually get the knockout? I honestly don't see Casimero outboxing and winning on the scorecard, because I don't think his punch output is up there. He's not really a thrower of the jab, which is definitely instrumental, like I said, in trying to beat someone who's fast. So if he doesn't have a good jab to try to keep off Inoue, what does he have to depend on? He's going to have to depend on his footwork, going side to side, backwards, throwing in pot shots, laying into the body. But he's going to have to be all over the place in order to control Inoue. Does that make sense? If you're not really a jabber, then that means you have to rely on, combination punches, and your footwork. And that's the kind of fighter Casimero is. But will he be able to sustain that and plan to sustain that for 12 rounds? Again, if he cannot score the knockout early, what do you think is going to happen towards the later rounds? Watch some of Casimero's fights, the fights that lasted like very, very long into the championship rounds, and you tell me what you feel the quality of his boxing late in the game versus what you see the quality of Inoue's boxing as he goes into the championship rounds. So you let me know what you think, but just from the way that I'm thinking about it, I feel like the fight is leaning towards Inoue to win, just because of his technical boxing, his efficiency, and what he's shown so far, especially the fight against Nonito. So let me know what you guys think. Chime in. I love the comments that keep coming in. I love going back and forth with everyone, sharing insight to help enrich our boxing forum. Subscribe if you haven't. If not, that's okay too. I would just love to get your insight as well on what you think of these fights, and whoever else I'm missing. Maybe you guys have some thoughts about Frampton. Maybe Frampton would be a good matchup against Inoue. So let me know. In the meantime, enjoy some boxing this weekend. There's some really good boxing. Devin Haney's fighting against, I just did a video on it, Haney versus Gamboa. So enjoy the boxing. There's some more boxing happening the end of this month and early next month as well. But until then, talk to you soon.